Wash Balkon's podcast. Let the record show that I tried to get Macon Pleva on tonight with us, and that guy didn't text me back. So, fuck you too, Macon. I guess I thought we loved each other. Must not be the case anymore. So now he's the enemy. Fuck Wisconsin and Macon.
Wow.
Making plays, didn't text you back.
Didn't text me back, dude.
Is he a dad now?
He is a dad.
Yeah, man, there's so many dads in the group now.
A lot of dads. It's good to be a dad, man.
Does it give you dad strength? Is that a real thing?
No.
You could say that I'm at the strongest I've ever been in my life. I don't think it correlates with me having the baby. But sure, yeah. I haven't been tested recently, but maybe if I get on steroids, then it'll for sure look like which is always a possibility. Could always just pull the trigger on that.
I mean, I don't know why you haven't already.
Well, there's some downsides, I think, technically, but
what's the upside?
But what is the upside, right? And that's a great question. Drake, that brings me to you. Are you still on your TRT?
I am a testosterone replacement therapy patient. Yes.
And you go once a week?
Yeah, I actually do the lowest dose in halves, and I do it twice a week.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of just because that's what works the best for me.
How's your peen doing?
You know, it's still like extremely lackluster if we're being honest. So,
Tough.
you know, God gave me what I have to work with, and you know, sometimes you bring a plastic hammer to the fucking work site. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it squeak when you hit it?
Does it
Yeah,
squeak?
sometimes.
It gets a little squeaky. Takes a few extra swings of the hammer. So that's our intro there to the Wash Walk-Ons podcast. Grant, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I'm even better knowing that the people right now can go and get
The G-Bone official merchandise.
the one and only G-Bone t-shirt or
Yes.
G-Bone sweatshirt.
Yes. Even better. Is that only on Patreon though right now?
It's currently on Patreon. It will be released by maybe if you're general public and you're not a part of the True Walk-On Army, look for it this weekend.
Okay.
For the first 3-4 days here, the G-Bone. If you ain't betting, you ain't watching. Merch.
If you ain't gambling, you ain't watching.
Or if you ain't gambling, you ain't watching. Merch is out.
Yes.
3 different colors.
Yes.
And a sweatshirt. And if you guys don't buy it or don't help us out, Gary won't eat.
That's true. That's true. We might go on a. Should we do a hunger strike? If they
No, I'm saying you're a poor college kid, and you simply won't have enough money to.
And you quit your job so that we could do extra podcasts.
I did do that. I did do that as well.
You had a job?
I did have a job. I was I worked at the tennis center. So
Are you a big tennis guy?
Love tennis. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
No,
I used to play tennis all the time in high school. We would actually fuck around with the rackets all the time. But
that's a real Homer Glenn thing to do.
It is a real home gun thing to do, but it was a lot of fun, man. I haven't played since, but I'm actually looking to get back into it.
Oh yeah, come to the HTRC. It's a great place to be.
Kevin
I can't now because you don't work there anymore.
Well, I mean, I can figure it out.
That is such a. I could see that happening. Kevin just randomly showing up at the rack and being like, "All right, who wants to smoke?"
It's him versus the ball machine for an hour and a half.
He's just crushed. He just goes there to blow off steam.
Ball machine would lose.
No, but t-shirts though, I appreciate anyone who's bought them or anyone who does buy them. Pretty crazy. I feel like I started this, I didn't really picture getting a t-shirt. But if you buy one, very thankful. We got to sell them. We got to show the suits up at corporate, the power of the brand. So let's make a statement, sell some shirts. I don't know. It was kind of funny. My uncle he likes the show, and he saw the shirts today because he's a Patreon subscriber, and he was, I think, a little confused. I think he thinks I'm like an official sponsor of Bedford. Just me personally, but
You've made it.
I think he might be buying one. But if you buy a shirt, thank you.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who supports. And again, if you want access to that, or you just want access to double the podcast, ad-free listening, discounts on our merchandise, upcoming Christmas drop is going to be pretty elite. All of that comes with the Patreon subscription, as well as the most important thing, which is you're donating to the kids. You can feel good about where your money's going. Patreon.com/washedupwalk-ons. I forget to say that sometimes, which makes it hard for you guys to go and find it. Or just our website, thewashedupwalk-ons.com. We are here tonight to preview the Wisconsin Badgers versus the visiting Iowa Hawkeyes. Camp Randall Stadium. Good place to play. Students don't show up until the third quarter. A little weird. Wisconsin, brand new football coach, kind of in a rebuilding phase, but also still at the top of the West Division, which is a shitty division, which is going away next year. A similar team to Iowa, especially in the new Big Ten of the future, which sits sort of in that second tier of teams competitively. Battle for the Heartland Trophy, Kevin.
They say it's a bull, but it's a cow. It doesn't have any nuts.
There is no nuts on the trophy. Do you think they missed on that one?
I mean, last I checked, bulls have nuts.
Well, pretty aggressive to put nuts on a trophy, right?
Honestly, it's just anatomically correct.
It's a pretty aggressive game. Pretty aggressive matchup.
You're right. It is a pretty the nature of this football game is generally always my favorite game to play in consistently. My favorite trophy. I've put that out there.
That's because you weren't blocking TJ Watt, dickhead.
Yeah, you're 100% correct, and I apologize that you were put in that situation. Just a lose there. When did he play?
He was on the 16 team, wasn't he? Or was there another outside linebacker that was stupid good?
They had a string of them that were all so good. TJ Watt, I want to say, graduated either 15 or 16 was his last year.
I think his senior year was 16 because I'm almost positive I remember blocking him on a few plays.
Well,
yeah, no, he was good, and turns out he's still good.
He's pretty good. Now, is he on? I know the Watts have unbelievable genetics.
Bro, are you asking if he's on the sauce? Because you and I
Yeah.
both know the easiest answer of all time to that question.
Okay. All right.
Look at that guy.
I know.
You see him at Wisconsin?
There's some genetic freaks out there, man.
Did you see him at Wisconsin?
They work hard.
Did you see him at Wisconsin?
To be honest, if I had to try and pull back a memory and picture what he looked like at Wisconsin in my head, I could not pull that up.
Exactly.
But we do have,
because it wasn't that noteworthy, and now he looks like a sculpture.
hey, time under tension. He's had a lot more years to lift the weights.
It does. Yeah. Okay. Yep. He was a 2017 first round draft pick, so 2016 was his last year. It does help just being able to train for nothing but being an NFL football player 24/7.
Yeah.
I don't have any of that school stuff getting in the way. Yeah, he don't look like that anymore.
Can you bring him up now?
He was still pretty damn good back then. I think he was playing across. What was the guy's name? Joe Sherbert.
Schobert. Yep.
Schobert was so
that was
good
a fucking
too.
great ass player too. They had some great defenses and that.
Joe the Show.
Yeah. Yeah, from like 2013 through 2016, they had some. Even 17, they had some all. Yeah.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Joe Schobert made a Pro Bowl with the Browns.
Let's look it up.
That sounds correct. Schobert was a bitch to play against. I remember him just, God, he was good. I don't know. I think that's doable. I think that's doable. If you gave me the resources, I would be I think I could be a 5'10" version of that. I mean, I'm kind of already am.
Just compare yourself to TJ Watt.
Well, I mean,
He did, yeah.
This kid makes me hate him more every day.
I know.
never seen
Gary,
him pass.
when are you just gonna like
Hop on the
slide in?
juice.
No, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Hop on the juice, but slide in and be our Kluver replacement too.
That's the funniest thing Gary's ever
We'll go nuke some tennis balls after you get on the juice.
I would. Geez. I mean, I've always been surprised there hasn't been just like a super jacked tennis player out there. Probably because it wouldn't work very well. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just
I don't know when I'm
happy?
getting on the juice. It might be maybe in the off season. We just hit a bunch of curls, get on the juice. I don't know.
Gary, I recommend waiting as long as you can because I did not take that approach. I was a little high school fucking meathead, and then I was a college meathead, and my natural testosterone availability took a huge kick in the balls for that. So don't do it.
I wasn't really planning on it. If we're just being fully transparent here.
Yeah, good.
But hey, maybe I just wake up one day in June. I'm like, let's stitch this podcast thing. I'm going for the Olympia. We're going classic division. So I don't know.
That would be cool.
fuck. Grant says, "What? Get on the juice?"
I didn't. We're talking about the juice. I don't know.
Man, it's tempting. And what people don't understand is you still have to work your balls off. Like,
I don't know.
is what it is. They might be on something. I've heard that a lot of NFL players find a way to be on stuff and go undetected. Nonetheless, we play Wisconsin. They don't have any Watts on their team. They're a little depleted from normal Wisconsin. I think we talked about that on the last podcast a little bit. But they still got some guys. Braylon Allen is really good.
Yeah, they just keep finding good running backs up there.
What's his projection?
He's got to be a second or third round pick, I imagine.
Yeah, probably he's not a first rounder because running backs just aren't.
Bijan Robinson just did.
Bijan Robinson is unbelievable.
Have you seen the kid Shane from Miami?
Yeah, who the hell is that?
He's from Texas A&M, dude.
Just
An
random
absolute burner.
You see the clip of Tyreek saying that he's like the third fastest in this.
That white boy.
And the second fastest, we got a white boy on the practice squad. He can go. I don't know what the white guy's name is, but that's impressive. Yeah, they have a great running back. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I know a couple weeks ago, Ches Malusi, who's another one of their studs that they've had on the
broke his leg.
He is out for the season.
Oh yeah, he had the same injury I did.
Gruesome. So he was arguably he was maybe their second biggest threat on offense, and he's gone. So I don't know. I'm looking at the stats here. Wisconsin in total defense through 6 games. Or I guess they've only played 5 games. They are 53rd in the country. They're giving up 355 yards a game. Offensively, holy shit.
They're moving the ball.
Somehow they are identical. They're 55th in the country on offense, and they're putting up over 400 yards a game, 413 yards per game. Not crazy amounts of touchdowns, just averaging 3, a little over 3 per game. But their whole thing was like, hey, Luke Fickell's going to come in. They're going to start this air raid thing. They're going to change the fabric of what Wisconsin is. And have they really done that, or has it been more of it's a combo still?
I think they've tried. I don't think they're in the position to go full air raid at this point. They're actually
don't have the
pretty
guys
balanced.
yet,
I think
probably.
they're around like 200 yards passing and rushing each right now, which good for
Pretty
them.
impressive.
but
It's just a balanced football team. It's just
that's good to be balanced. I think the issue will come if they'll struggle if they can't run the ball. I don't think they're in a position to be an air raid offense 24/7. 3 downs every set of downs yet. So if we can stop the run, I think we have a really good chance of kind of making them play a little left-handed. I don't think Tanner Mordecai has been that great this year. I think 64% on the 3 touchdown passes.
serviceable.
I think the defense is going to have to, as it always has for the last 3 years, is really going to have to carry this game.
Last 3? Did you mean
Oh.
30?
Yeah, 2019 offense wasn't terrible, man.
Yeah, they were all right.
Where's it going? Yeah, I think if we're able to get him playing left-handed, get him on some long 3rd downs, I don't think that they have the guys on the outside and the perimeter to really throw the ball downfield.
I don't think they have the tower of an offensive line that they used to have when we would play them either. And if they do actually like in stature, I don't think that they bring the same oomph.
I think they brought back most of their offensive linemen.
Okay.
They just kind of had a slow, steady decline for the last 3 years, though.
Yeah.
It's not the Wisconsin offensive lines of the mid 2000s through the 20 teens.
God, they were
I
so
wonder
good.
who else has a similar problem.
I just
Yeah.
don't make them like they used to. I don't know.
Well, actually, Kev, you weren't here last Wednesday. But speaking about, I guess the O-line specifically, this is where people are drawing the parallel or the connection. But God, I have been, we sort of talked about this last year, and I just really don't know how much merit it has. As much as I like Coach Doyle, I've been sent a 10 or 15 DMs or been tagged in tweets this year about, I hate to say it, but ever since Coach Doyle left, that's when the problem started with our offensive line. And it was about the same time that Brian took over, or like really gained. Well, I guess he'd been OC.
He'd already been the OC.
17. Yeah. Or I guess it was around the time that Polasek left. Yeah, the year before Polasek left, and then Doyle was gone the next year. I mean, I've been asked by so many people, like, is Doyle being gone the reason this is happening? And I know there's too many factors. This is my opinion. I know there's too many factors that go into this to just sit here and say, yeah, 1-to-1 conclusion. Like, Chris left and now our line sucks. Like, it just is not that easy. But like, I think I'd also be naive to say it had zero to do with it. Like, absolutely zero. It might be negligible, but he did spend a lot of time hanging around the offensive line. I think, again, I don't know how much this plays a role, but he certainly did drive a mentality throughout the program that was beneficial to have as an offensive lineman. He's not the one who brought the guys in. We've talked about our former inside source who likes to just look at the personnel and say, I believe the term that he last used was, there's a bunch of clomping going on around there. We got a bunch of clompers. Not a lot of studs running around.
Movers and shakers.
I think I really buy into this. That we used to find athletes.
Dude, we had tight ends playing tackle for us our 15, 16, 17 year, dude.
Yeah, we used to find athletes.
Yeah, I mean,
and
you
turn
think
them
about
into.
you think about our best offensive linemen. They either were somewhat of a skill position, moved to offensive line, or they were just naturally super athletic. You think,
or
James
they were
Daniels
absolute
Tristan
studs
Wirfs.
from the beginning. Yep,
exactly. Yeah.
Yep. I think about Brandon Sheriff, still in the league. I'm watching him grind people down the other day for the Jags.
Fucking quarterback.
He was a quarterback. Speaking of tennis, Sheriff played tennis in high school. He played, I think he was like a 14 sport athlete. He played
Light
baseball,
feet, baby. Light on his feet.
basketball, football, tennis. He was probably on the ping pong team. I mean, he did it all.
How fast do you think his serve was, Gary?
Jesus.
Ooh, Sheriff. Man, he's triple digits for sure. I don't know if he's more of a get a little spin on there. I'm not really sure what his game plan is.
Finesse was really never his game. I think it was more of a.
You think he's just I'm going to go out there and just punish the ball,
especially in high school.
That's what he did, defensive lineman. So that would make sense.
That makes sense.
Who else? We in our class alone, I guess Boone was probably a lineman, but Ike was
Boone was a tight end.
He was a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
So Boone was a tight end.
He got brought in as a tight end, but brought in to play offensive line.
Ike was a 240-pound quarterback, tight end, DB, whatever they wanted to use him at Cedar Falls.
Leonard Baum was a defensive lineman.
He was a defensive lineman. How many other guys? I mean,
I don't know if Cole Croston came in as a tight end or not, or if he came in as an offensive lineman, but he was a svelte guy when he came in.
He was
athletic. Had to put on a lot of size. He had to turn himself basically from tight end.
And then you look at guys like James Daniels, Wirfs. Those kinds of guys are just like, you're an NFL player who has to spend 3 years in college first. Like, you're just already.
I think part of the problem though is these kids are coming out of high school and they're 300 pounds plus already. Like there's no need for that. I think it's actually detrimental to your development.
Detrimental.
That's what I'm saying. Because Kevin, I mean, the three of us all know it was our fucking major exercise science. How hard is it on the body, but also just time wise? You're wasting so much time to have to recomp somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. It's easier to get bigger than it is to get faster, right?
Way easier.
So I would rather be a leaner 270-pound high school offensive lineman.
250.
You can be 250, absolutely. Get fast at that weight, come to Iowa, put on the weight and stay fast versus you are already 310 pounds and getting fast. It's hard to get fast at 310 pounds. It's almost impossible.
Not just fast, but athletic.
Versus you can take the other route. It's like, hey, you're 310. We got to cut you down and build you back up.
It also can't be overstated how important good feet are for an offensive lineman.
Yes.
Like if you know you have good feet, then you're going to use your good athletic feet to get your body in the position. You're not going to be leaning, lunging, fucking diving to try and get into positions because your feet get you there. And all of the best offensive linemen are agile as shit.
And you can't be top heavy too.
If I think about unless you're Trent Williams.
If I think about James Daniels, I think 80% of his body weight was from the waist down.
It was in his quads, dude.
The dude had the biggest ass I've ever seen.
He had a big fucking ass, man, and he's still in the league. He's been in the league for 7 years or whatever. Yeah, I guess what we're speaking to here is those guys who we have right now. They can't change who they are or who they came in as. That's all in the past. It's history at this point. I guess I'm talking about recruiting. I mean, I don't know who's
been talking about it, dude.
I don't know who's mainlining the offensive line recruits right now, but let's go find some overweight tight ends who are athletic but a little bit slow for the tight end.
They don't even have to be overweight tight ends, dude.
You just need to get the frame.
Just go find a bunch of 6'4", 6'5" dudes who are somewhere between 250, 275 pounds.
No, they don't even have to be that big. That's what we're saying, dude. Ike showed you the prototype.
I know, but you don't want to have to go 70
Ike was a big
plus.
Dude, though. Ike was
right
coming in.
He was 240, but you don't have to go to 270 because then you're looking for the dudes who are already that size. You know that you can put good quality size on that frame in the building.
Yeah, but you're right. But if you don't have to go 70 pounds, you're taking a chance if you're like, hey, the plan here is we're going to put 70 pounds of good weight on you. It might be a 3-year process. And at this point, we don't have 3 years.
If there's a bright spot, I did hear today that there's a quote out there that the current scout offensive line, so your first and second year players, are the best that they've ever looked.
I saw that. which is
Yeah,
just
something.
pissing off the starting defensive line in practice.
Yeah, maybe it's because the defensive line isn't as good as it's been in years past either. So I don't know.
Yeah. Sounds like Shannon's back practicing now,
That's huge.
which I said on DHT yesterday. I think, Grant, you looked at me a little crazy yesterday when I was like, I wouldn't expect him to be out there this week, but I think maybe next week he's got a shot. I think
imagine he's in shape still. I mean, he's been in the building. There's no
he's
reason
for
not in
sure
shape,
been,
right?
yeah, he's been doing so many ropes and the bike so much that he wants to throw himself off the top of the Hanson Performance Complex. He's in
gonna use
shape.
all of that on offensive linemen.
Can you imagine the first sack Noah Shannon gets? Oh, I might cry. That'd be emotional.
I don't need a sack out of him. I just need him to lock down the A and the B
Yeah,
gap.
A and B gap, baby. 2 gap central.
And he's
Actually,
good at that.
just both A's. Just
We don't ask our defensive tackles to do a whole lot in the pass rush game every now and then, but if you can just lock down the A and the B gap, baby, and just don't move, that's what we need from you.
Just Vince will fork it, baby.
Take on some double teams and let the linebackers run.
give
Oh,
that
yeah.
double team a big old hip and let your linebackers eat.
Just
Speaking of a
create
hip,
big-ass pile.
did you guys catch that clip of Linderbaum from a couple weeks ago blocking a dude with his ass?
No, I missed it.
Oh, it was great. Try and find it, Grant. I think it was who's the guy who always I think it was Brian. Is his last name Baldinger?
Oh yeah.
He always
Baldy?
does. Yeah. He's got a clip of Lindy. He blocks down on his guy, sees a backer coming through from the second level, and just reverses out and sticks his ass out. And it looks like a full-on block, but he just hip checks him into the side guy. And it was sort of out of the way, but he kept the guy from getting through and getting to Lamar. It was impressive. He's good.
He's so sensational.
And people thought he was gonna, he's got short
And
arms.
what did Lamar say about him? He said it's the fastest center he's ever played with.
So fast,
Do
so
you-
athletic.
Do you remember it was I think it was versus Wisconsin 28.
He ran with
19?
Goodson down the
Yeah,
field.
exactly. It's like a screenplay. He's like 5 yards behind Tyler Goodson, 50 yards down the field.
Think about how absurd that is.
I don't remember what.
In knee braces.
Yeah, I don't remember what Lindy ran at pro day or his.
Doesn't matter. He plays
think he was
fast on the
sub-5.
field.
I think he was sub-5.
I guarantee it was faster than me. Guarantee. I was 4.92. I bet he was in the 4.8s. I bet he was close. Yeah, right here. Oh fuck!
He went to the combine. You could see his combine numbers.
See that? I mean, he's trying to get everybody. It's away from the play, but it's just fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean that prevents the guy from tracking it down on the backside.
Right. Yeah. If there's any shot, he takes it away. So yeah, man, I think that's what we have to say. I mean, we've talked about the offensive line just so much over the last couple of years, but I mean, I think that's generally the consensus of the walk-ons is like, man, we just got to get some athletes, build them into studs. I don't know. Do you think Doyle being gone has any merit?
I mean, I don't know to the degree of what the effect is. It's had some effect, I'm sure.
Because let's be honest.
I think it has an effect on the team. It's not just the offensive line. There's
Sure.
just a team. The teams that I was on were better because we had him as a presence at all times.
Because the three of the two
I
of you,
I don't think it has to do with strength and conditioning.
not at all.
I
Because
don't
you
know.
guys
And
you
I
guys
don't think
know
there's any
that
merit
Ray
behind
is
that
running the
whatsoever.
same program that they ran before.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the stuff that they're doing training wise, lifting weights wise, all that stuff, same shit. We asked those players this summer, hey, you got quarters this day, you running 60s and stations. They're looking at us rolling their eyes going, oh yeah, we got fucking 3.5 quarters of conditioning.
Yeah, but didn't they take cut 85s out? There's something different about their conditioning where I was like, oh, you guys little easier on them.
Maybe, but I don't think that's the reason for why we're not great at
Of
running.
course not. I'm just saying that I do think that with football getting a little softer with the no two-a-days and that kind of shit, you know,
Sure,
even the conditioning regimen gets a little easier.
maybe. I don't know. In my opinion, it's too small of a thing. It's so much of a single factor that I just don't know if you can point at that. I mean, if you ask me in general, I haven't been shy about it. I thought Doyle was better for the program than not, but we're long past that, right? So it's like, we got to figure it out with who's in the building, who's on staff, who's on the team.
What's hilarious is now it feels like after Iowa fans just spit all over Doyle, now they're kind of like calling their ex-girlfriend, trying to get her back, type
I don't
shit.
think
Like,
it's anything
baby, I
like
miss
that at
you.
all. I don't think it's anything like that at all. I think all these people who are having these comments just didn't say anything 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
It
it was not an inducive or beneficial environment to do so.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's human psychology is crazy.
It is. It is. We're a 10-point dog in this game.
at Wisconsin, dude, it's a hard place to play.
Camp Randall's definitely a couple points, definitely a few points there. Jump around, cool thing. It was kind of loud, but it was from artificial music, from what I can remember.
It was fake. It's crowd noise way later than they're supposed to play it.
But second half, once you actually have a full student section,
If you're in a game,
I mean, it's
And they
80,000.
still kept the crowd noise on.
It's 80,000 people in a pretty enclosed stadium.
Yeah.
80,000 people like to drink a whole lot too.
A whole lot.
The line is 34.5
Is it down to 34 now?
on Betfred today. Shout out to
They
Betfred.
think we're scoring 0 points.
I saw it at 34.5, and here's the deal. I saw the tweet. There's only been 4 games in the last however many years that have had a total at that amount or lower. 3 of those games had Iowa in them. Iowa, Minnesota last year is the all-time record. Is like the all-time record of like 31 or 31,
31 and a half.
31 and a half. The others were like right at 34.
I do believe they underhit that game, correct?
Hold on.
Look it up, Grant. And I think what they're assuming here is we saw Deacon last week. We know what we have.
It hit easily.
What was the final score?
13-10.
There we go.
Unbelievable. Yeah, man. 34 points is a 17-17 ball game. At a 10-point line there, they're predicting like 23-13, 23-10, something like that. So
I don't think we give up 20. If the defense does what it should, I don't think we give up 23 points.
But
Rutgers, they scored 24 on Rutgers, but 7 of that was a pick 6.
Yeah.
I think if we stop the run, that we have a phenomenal chance of keeping this a close ball game.
We can force them to throw it and maybe make mistakes.
I think we're going to play a lot of down defense, so we're going to bring the safety down a whole lot, either on the backside or on the front side, and play some cover 3. I think we're going to have to try to force them to beat us through the air, and I don't think they can do that. I think we have just the better matchups on the outside.
I don't know what Wisconsin's defense has to offer, but I am terrified for this offensive line to play a 3-4 defense.
Well, they're not the Wisconsin defense of years past either. They're giving up 355 yards a game, which is not even close to what their best defenses ever gave up. They're doing a decent job of keeping points off the board, but they are letting opponents move the ball on them a little bit.
So they are 53rd in total defense. We've played Penn State, who's first, allowing And granted, our game against them certainly padded this stat, but Penn State's first in the country, only allowing 210 yards per game, which is absurd. Who else have we played that's in the top 50? Anybody?
Probably no one.
No. So this will be, according to ranking, the second best defense
Iowa
we've
State's
played.
got to be up there somewhere, right?
Iowa State, yeah, they usually are up there. Where are they?
I'd say they're top 50. I mean, they're not crazy, but they're probably top 50.
Iowa State's sitting at 45th. Yep.
Okay.
So they're ahead of Wisconsin by a little bit. But after Penn State and then Iowa State, Wisconsin sits right there at 53rd. And then
now the unfortunate part is that, they're giving up 3/4 of the yards through the air right now. So that's kind of where we have to take advantage, and that's not something I feel great about.
So, well, we didn't complete a pass to receiver last game. And we only completed 6 otherwise. I mean, it's not good. And I think when you look at the line, this is everything that's being calculated into the line. I don't think that Vegas, the what are they? The formulas, the predictors, the machines. I don't think they think Iowa can score more than 14 points in this game.
Tell me this isn't just a bet the under and pray scenario.
I don't think you have to pray if you bet the under. I think you're
No. Because you're praying for Iowa to win in a game that is under the total amount of points. Because a close game is probably what it's going to take. I don't see this offense being capable of running a
you're saying
shootout.
Iowa's not winning 28-20 in this game?
There we go. So I'm saying bet the under and then say your prayers that Iowa can, win a low-scoring close one.
Yeah. I think, and this is so cliche, a 4th grader that's a fan of Iowa could tell you this, but I mean, Tory Taylor and the punt team are going to be massive in this game.
Field position. I mean,
how important was special teams, Kev? That punt unit and Drake. When we went out there and we were playing Wisconsin, we felt like we needed every goddamn yard.
And here's the thing: Tory Taylor becomes even more important because we absolutely cannot lose the turnover battle. Like, even if our offense stinks, we have to get the ball to Tory so that he can at least give our defense a chance. If we're turning the ball over and not advancing it, it snowballs just like the Penn State game.
Are you, Drake? You just said we have to feed Tory Taylor.
Dude, no.
Tory.
Tell me that I'm not right in this instance. We've played Wisconsin now 10 times since we've known each other. How many games have we made it out of as a team with less than 8 punts?
Few.
Like, we used to punt against Wisconsin 14 times a game.
I remember when we went to Purdue our junior year, we had 5 in the first quarter, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Whatever. 2016, did we go to Purdue? Yes, because we played them.
We put up a decent amount of points.
Yeah, we beat them pretty good that day.
Well, in the first, I think it evened out, and I ended up only having like 8 or 9 punts. But in the first quarter, boys, we had like 4 or 5, and I was like, "Oh my, I might hit the 25 play limit. I might not have to run conditioning tomorrow." Doyle would have never let it happen. What's a problem when you talk about turnover margin is a very uncharacteristic stat for Iowa this year. We're actually -1 on the year. Halfway through the season, and that half including the 3 non-con games, it's not good. That is not usually where Iowa is. It's usually a stat that we can look at and be like, man, we control turnovers. We're just not doing it. I did see that we are like 4th least penalties today on Twitter, which is great. We were hoping that they would clean that up, and that helps a lot. There's a lot of hidden yardage there. But man, -1, we're negative in the turnover battle halfway through the season. Fuck, man, we can't do that. We cannot.
When's the last time an Iowa team was minus in the turnover battle?
I was just going to look up the historical turnover margin, but I don't think I can come up with that quickly. But I would guess we have
Oh man, it was probably when we were playing. Maybe
No way.
Dude, we were intercepting so many passes. I bet they haven't had a in a
maybe
full
If it was 2014, that would have been the only season, and I don't know if we had like a gargantuan amount of turnovers.
maybe 2018, but I doubt it. Not
see if I
20.
can-
Definitely wasn't 2019.
No,
I don't.
still
I don't
positive
even
in
count
2018.
2020 as a year.
Oh yeah, we can pull it up right here. Turnover margin per game. In 2014 for the Hawks, we were. What were we? I don't remember us turning it over a crazy amount.
It was I'm seeing negative
Wow.
0.4.
So we actually were negative in 2014. Holy shit. So it's probably been 10 years.
Brutal. Okay, so 10
And
years since an
2014
because that's what we
wasn't
pride
good.
ourselves in, dude. It's turnovers, win the turnover battle, win the penalty battle, and just play clean football.
Yeah.
Run the ball and stop the run.
And that next year, by the way, in 2015, we're 8th in the country in turnover margin.
Was that team any good?
Some would say no. Great schedule. Got lucky a couple times.
Pat Anger says we'd have got our faces smacked off.
Pat Anger's pre-diabetic.
Do you think that's just
Pat, I
a
love you,
thing
man.
that every team says about the teams that come after them? Is that
It might-
these guys are soft?
It might be true, honestly. They were way tougher than me in 1985.
I'll tell you what,
Probably.
from what I
mean,
hear of
steroids back then, so hope so.
True.
from what I hear of Coach Woods' camp stories, I'm glad I didn't play back then.
Facts.
23 days, doubles every day.
I mean, what?
Kill myself.
What? I want to kill myself. All right. That's our analysis. You can tell we're really excited about it. Maybe you'll get some insight on who we think is going to win in our new segment. Not new segment, but Kevin.
New segment, man. This is a staple of the podcast since like 2018. What are you talking about?
I don't know why I said new. I kind of meant like new to this episode. Like, hey, here's a brand new segment that we're gonna. I don't know. I'm flustered.
Kluver
All
sucks
right.
at broadcasting, dude. Just let him be.
True.
I'm gonna go back to this has kind of been my horse all year long. I've got Rutgers minus 4.5 at home versus Michigan State.
Oh.
They are currently undefeated versus the spread. They are 5-0-1. And I think that they run the ball pretty. Yeah.
What a stat. Rutgers just an absolute beast against the spread, huh?
Yes, sir. So basically, I think Rutgers is going to be able to run the ball versus Michigan State. I think that they actually have a pretty solid defense, and just what we've seen from Michigan State this year is less than stellar. So give me Rutgers minus 4.5. Going to another team that is pretty solid versus the spread this year. Maryland is minus 14 versus Illinois. I think Maryland is doing some good things with the ball in their hands, and Illinois is not doing some good things on defense. I don't know what the hell happened to Illinois' defense. I know their secondary's been banged up a little bit, but I think that's a bad news Bears versus Tua's little brother. I think Maryland covers the 2 touchdowns versus a struggling Illinois team. Okay. And then to cap it all off, I've got Ohio State minus 19.5 versus Purdue. Purdue had starting offensive lineman break his leg last week. Their quarterback got peppered. He's probably not feeling too great. Ohio State's been having a hard time put points on the board, actually, as far as Ohio State standards, but I do think that they are able to cover the 3 touchdown spread here versus a rebuilding and kind of beaten up Purdue team.
I like that pick. I was potentially going to use that pick, but I don't like to double up here. And I
Yeah,
don't
go
wanna-
for it.
No bad juju. Dion and the boys, they're playing one of the worst teams in college football this week in Stanford. They've fallen a long way since Christian McCaffrey in the 2015 team. I'm seeing the line at 11.5, I believe. Give me the Colorado Buffs against them. I am also going to take. Do I want to do it? Louisville.
Oh,
Grant.
Oh?
I might be on the Louisville train. Jeff Brown.
okay.
Big Ten West team. Louisville.
Oh yeah, that counts. Them and UCLA.
Don't love the hook there. They're playing Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh, but give me Louisville minus
Okay.
7.5. And I got burnt. I took the over last week. And why would you? Why would you? You take the under on Iowa games, right? That's how you win football games, or that's how you win betting. You take the under on every Iowa game. You go 8-4, 9-3, maybe 10-2, just like the Hawks every year, and you make money. And so at 34.5, your boy, tech guy, takes the under of the Iowa-Wisconsin game. We see a 10-7 ball game, hopefully in favor of the Hawks. Hawks by 1 million.
Or 3.
Or 3.
At this point, 3 is 1 million.
3 would feel like 1 million.
Shocker.
Hawks,
Wow.
Matt.
Drake, is there UFC?
I have not actually checked the UFC card this weekend because I am way too hyped about next weekend.
I just saw that.
The entire card just got flipped upside down, and it just became even cooler somehow. Because
Usman's in the getting in the ring now, fighting
Chimaev, which is unreal. We're going to find out very quickly how legit Chimaev is, even though he already beat Gilbert Burns, who is extremely legit. I'm kind of afraid that Usman taking that fight on short notice is going to be a bit of an issue for him, because Hamzat is honestly, he looks like a god of war. So I'm a little worried about Usman there. And then the fucking king of the UFC, pound for pound, Volk saves the day to step in for Olives to fight Islam. So next weekend is going to be so sick, and I'll probably have some picks next week.
Okay, so no picks for Drake. Grant, I remember, if you ain't gambling, you ain't watching. So we know Grant's gambling. We know Grant's gambling this week. Go buy the T-shirt. Come on now.
Oh yes. I did bring picks. First one, this one, depending on when you're listening to it, Thursday night college football. Houston plus 2.5 versus West Virginia. This will be on right before the Broncos start. So maybe we flip the audio to this one, depending on how the Broncos are playing. But we'll see how that goes. I just think really weird game. I don't know why the line's that small. I think it just screams to take Houston. West Virginia might be kind of overplaying how good they are so far. So I think at like a potentially like half empty stadium on a Thursday night, they might get caught sleeping. So Houston plus 2.5. And then also Oklahoma State plus 3.5 against Kansas. Oklahoma State on a little extended rest because they played early last week. I also think it's a little bit of a look ahead spot with Kevin is talking. We can't hear him though.
You're going against your Jayhawks. That's your team this year.
I mean, my team is the Hawks. My team.
Oh man, no, I feel like you're betting on Kansas every other week.
Well, we had 8.5 versus BYU, and then I went against them with Illinois, and they crushed me.
You're right.
But either way, regardless, this time I'm taking Oklahoma plus 3.5. I feel like Gundy is kind of back against the wall a little bit. This win would help boost the season. They haven't traveled in a long time. I think the bye week really helped them get a win last week. So I'm liking what Oklahoma State is doing with plus 3.5.
I'm a man.
I'm 40.
I'm 40.
You know that was crazy long ago now. Now it's like I'm a man. I'm 56.
Yeah, I'm a man. I'm eligible for the reduced meal rate at the buffet.
Is there a max age on mullets, by the way?
No, if you the older you get, the more impressive a mullet becomes.
I think if you were
off.
rocking one back in the 80s or 90s, whenever they first came around, you're allowed to rock it in perpetuity.
Gundy has the for life card on that one.
I agree with that. I think he's still crushing it.
Do I have the life card?
You barely have life sometimes, so.
But do I get the card?
Sure. There were some screenshots yesterday of our DHT episode where he looked like Jesus. So,
which was pretty cool.
And I have to.
You're just rocking a mullet.
I hate to admit it, but he did look like Jesus. And someday when we find someone who will actually, well, I don't want to drop that. Actually, just about leaked something to the public.
But that is going to be a cool idea, though, right?
It's the best idea. And you're going to be on the. You're going to be the logo for that. But anyway. Join the Patreon if you want to know the inside juicy secrets of the walk-ons and the new thing we have coming out very, very soon. Grant,
my last pick is Virginia Tech -1.5. They are playing Wake Forest. Wake Forest is not very good. I think they're going to be a little tired too after a hard-fought game against Clemson last week. I don't think Virginia Tech is very good, but I like them in this game. I like them at home anytime they're there. A little Enter Sandman never hurt nobody, so I'm going to do that.
No, it did not. And I went to the Metallica concert down here in Phoenix, and they did not play Enter Sandman.
What?
That's ass.
You asked for your money back?
Yeah, get a refund.
I actually got the tickets for free from the Baders. They invited us, and we got to stay in their we got to sit in their little executive suite deal. So that wasn't too bad of a time.
That makes it a little bit better.
I'll take the reduced set list for the free Metallica concert.
I don't know why, but I feel like Virginia Tech being a bad football team just makes me sad as a college football fan. They should be. I feel like they should be a good football team.
Yeah,
the environment says that it should warrant a good team.
Yeah, because they always do too. Even when they're decent, they get that. You get always like a cinematic Enter Sandman right at night. And I don't know if we're gonna get one of those right now. So, but hey, maybe they win this game and we get one later. Who knows?
Check this out right here.
What is this?
UCF uniforms this weekend.
Oh, well, have you seen FIU's uniforms right now? They got a Miami Vice night going on.
What?
Oh, yeah. The Panthers?
UCF is Space U this weekend, I guess.
They did this last year, too. It's just...
pass.
What if Iowa just came out in a baby blue?
That would just make
sense.
Why?
Just fuck it. Just, hey.
It's an alternate.
We're wearing lime green. Bring it on. That's all we got.
In other news, Sam's Club has incredible beef.
I believe it.
Incredible beef. We do love meat on this podcast.
Shout out to the meat.
We love Betfred too. Thanks for Betfred for sponsoring the podcast and the segment. Download the Betfred Iowa app today. Catch us maybe talking about a Hawkeye dub. I mean, this really...
Does Frederick get his pot? Go ahead.
This is a make or break it game for this year. We win and we're in the driver's seat. We lose and I don't see a way to climb back.
We win this game and we could potentially be West champions forever because it's the last year of division. So just think about that, boys. On the inside,
won't have to give the trophy back because it'll be
in the West forever.
Ever. Wow. All right, we'll talk to you next time. Till then, peace.
Peace.